Let me tell you about Jason and Lily. They were that couple everyone admired, at least in the beginning. Their story was like something out of a movie, a mix of young love and big adventures. They met 2 years ago at a summer barbecue. Jason, the calm and steady type, and Lily, full of life and energy, seemed to complement each other perfectly. Within a year, they got married, excited to start their life together. But now, just a year and a half later, things felt different. I'm Jason, by the way, and that's my story. I work long hours at an accounting firm. I'm the type who likes to do thoughtful things, leaving little notes on the fridge, planning quiet evenings at home. Lily used to light up at those gestures, but lately, it's like nothing I do makes her happy anymore. Lily's fiery personality was something I loved about her, but these days, it's like a spark that keeps burning too hot. She's been picking fights about things I can't even wrap my head around. One night, as we were making dinner, she snapped, "You don't even follow me on social media. Jason, do you even care about me?" I took a deep breath and tried to keep my voice calm. "Lily, I live with you. I'm here every single day. Isn't that what really matters?" But she wouldn't drop it. "If you really loved me, you'd care about everything I post. Why don't you want to be a part of my life?" Then there were arguments about my friends. I mentioned going golfing once Saturday, and she said, "You promised to spend time with me. Guess your buddies are more important than I am." I tried explaining, "Lily, having hobbies and seeing friends is normal. It doesn't mean I care about you any less," but my words only seemed to make things worse. Even little things, like forgetting to take out the trash, turned into fights. "You're doing it on purpose to annoy me," she'd say. The worst, though, was when she asked if I was cheating. "Are you seeing someone else, Jason? Is that why you're acting so distant?" That accusation hit me hard, not because it was true, far from it, but because it was so far from who I am. I've never given her a reason to doubt me. I suggested solutions. "Let's spend a weekend away," I told her. I even brought up counseling. Maybe we could see someone together, figure out what's going on, but she'd brush it off every time. "We're fine," she'd say, only for another argument to blow up the next day. When things got too heated, Lily would leave, after her sister's place or out with her friends. I'd sit in our too quiet home, wondering where things went so wrong. This back and forth became a pattern, a cycle I couldn't seem to break. Sometimes, during our worst fights, she'd bring up divorce. Maybe we're not meant to be. She'd say, her eyes teary. Then by morning, she'd act like nothing had happened. I'm a patient guy, but even I was getting worn out. I loved her. I wanted to save our marriage, but lately, it felt like I was fighting this battle on my own. One evening, things came to a head. The fight started over something small, fixing a loose hinge on a cabinet door. "You never listened to me, Jason," she shouted. Her voice trembled, and her frustration hit me like a wave. I rubbed my temples, trying to stay calm. "Lily, it's not that I don't listen. It's just been a busy week. I'll take care of it tomorrow. I promise." "Tomorrow," she scoffed. "It's always tomorrow. Maybe I'm tired of waiting for tomorrow. Maybe I'm tired of all of this." I stood up, my voice firm but steady. "Lily, this isn't about a hinge, is it? You're upset, but you're not giving me a chance to make things better." The word divorce hung in the air between us, unspoken but heavy. I hated how often it came up lately. I took a deep breath. "Look, I love you, but we can't keep going like this. We need help." For the first time in weeks, she hesitated. Her shoulders slumped, and her voice softened. "You think we need therapy?" "I do." I said gently, "I think we need to figure out how to talk to each other again. I want this to work, Lily." She looked down, biting her lip. "Maybe you're right," she said quietly. Then, after a pause, she added, "But I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet." I felt a flicker of hope. "What are you ready for then?" She brightened suddenly, her tone almost excited. "I think I need a break. Megan and Isabella have been planning a trip to Europe for months. I could go with them, clear my head, and get some perspective. A trip to Europe." I asked, stunned. "Now, why not?" she said, her voice insistent. "It's been a dream of mine to see Paris, Rome, Barcelona. It could be good for both of us. We need some space." Her idea made me uneasy, but I wanted to support her. "How long would you be gone?" "Just 12 days, she said quickly. "That's not too long, right? I'll keep in touch, I promise." Despite my reservations, I agreed. Maybe she was right. Maybe some distance would help us both. In the days before her trip, the house buzzed with her excitement. She talked about the places she'd see, the things she'd do. while her friends called constantly to finalize plans. On the morning of her flight, I offered to take her to the airport, but she declined. "I need to do this alone," she said, avoiding my eyes. Standing by the door with her suitcase, she smiled at me, a bright, almost carefree smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "This will be good for us," she said. "Trust me," I forced a smile and nodded. "Just keep in touch, okay?" "I will," she promised, kissing me on the cheek before heading out the door. As her car disappeared down the street, I stood by the window, my heart heavy with unease. "Just 12 days," I murmured. "It'll fly by." Something about Lily's sudden busy streak didn't sit right with me. It felt like she was throwing up a smokescreen, trying to distract me from something she didn't want me to see. And the way she kept ignoring my calls and messages only made me more suspicious. Sitting in the quiet of our house, I stared at my phone, a storm of anger and heartbreak twisting in my gut. The next day, I couldn't take it anymore. I decided to call Hannah. I'd avoided dragging others into my relationship, but this time I had no choice. I hesitated, then dialed. No answer. I tried again, still nothing. On the third try, Hannah finally picked up. "Hello," she said, her voice uneasy. She sounded nothing like her usual cheerful self. I cleared my throat. "Hi, Hannah. It's Jason. Hope I'm not interrupting anything." There was a pause. "Oh, Jason. No, it's fine. What's up? I'm fine." I lied, gripping the phone tight. I haven't heard from Lily in a while. Thought I'd check in and see how you two are doing." She hesitated again before responding. "Oh, we're fine. Everything's fine. You know how it is. Traveling is crazy. Lily probably just got caught up in sightseeing. That's why she hasn't checked her phone." Her words didn't convince me. "She hasn't replied in days, Hannah. Are you sure everything's okay?" She let out a nervous laugh. Yeah, totally fine. It's just been hectic. We were almost robbed in Italy, and the weather's been awful. Freezing, especially here in Germany. And, the time difference doesn't help." I frowned. Something about her tone felt off, like she was scrambling for excuses. Then in the background, I caught it. Voices speaking English, the hum of a copier, and a microwave. Ding. It sounded like an office, not Europe, Germany. "Huh?" I tested her. "That's a long way from Paris. You two still traveling together?" Hannah's voice tightened. "Yeah, of course, we've been moving around a lot." "Look, Jason, I'd love to chat more, but I'm really busy. Can we talk when we get back?" Before I could respond, she ended the call. I stared at my phone, my suspicions solidifying into certainty. Hannah wasn't in Europe anymore. The sounds, her rushed excuses, it all added up. She was lying, unable to sit still. I grabbed my keys and drove to Hannah's house. Parking a few houses down, I waited. Hours passed, each minute dragging painfully slow. Finally, as the sun began to set, Hannah's car pulled into the driveway. I sank lower in my seat as she stepped out. She wore casual clothes, her hair tied back, and carried a takeout bag in that one hand. She didn't look like someone who had just flown in from Europe. She looked comfortable. Watching her go inside, I sat in stunned silence. If Hannah was back, where was Lily, and why hadn't Bat? She told me. The next day, Lily texted me saying she was fine but had just been busy. I played it cool, even though my stomach churned. Then, on the 11th day of her trip, she finally called. I answered on the first ring, trying to mask my tension. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Hi, Jason," she said, her tone soft but shaky. "I'm sorry I haven't been in touch much. It's been a lot. There were some problems, and I've been feeling really off. Sick. I didn't want to worry you." I tightened my grip on the phone, forcing myself to stay calm. "I get it," I replied. "Traveling can be exhausting. Are you okay now?" "Better," she said with a sigh. "I'll tell you everything when I get back. I miss you. See you soon." Okay, I said, though the knot in my stomach only grew tighter. When Lily finally returned on the 12th day, I was ready. I'd spent the morning pacing the living room, replaying the past 2 weeks over and over in my head. Her silence, Hannah's lies, the deleted video, it all pointed to something I couldn't ignore. The door opened and Lily walked in, dragging her suitcase behind her. She smiled wide, rushing toward me. "Jason, I've missed you so much," she exclaimed, wrapping her arms around me. Her enthusiasm felt fake, like she was putting on a show. Before I could say anything, she launched into an animated recap of her trip. It was so hard, the weather was awful, and we ran into all kinds of trouble. I felt terrible half the time, which is why I wasn't answering. I didn't want to worry you. Then she paused, placing a hand on her stomach. "Jason, there's something I need to tell you." My heart pounded as I braced myself. I'm pregnant, she announced, her smile triumphant. That's why everything's been so strange. Why I've been moody and feeling sick. It's hormones. Jason, please don't be mad at me. Of all the explanations I'd prepared for, this wasn't one of them. My breath caught, my world tilting. You're pregnant, I whispered. Yes, she said, her eyes wide and expectant. I know it's a shock, but it's wonderful news, isn't it? We're going to be parents. I straightened, my suspicions refusing to be silenced. Lily, I said, my voice measured. I have to be honest, I have serious doubts about this. Her smile vanished, replaced by a fiery glare. What? She snapped. Are you accusing me of something? I think we need a DNA test, I said firmly. Lily's face twisted with anger. Are you kidding me? You're scared of being a father, so you're making up ridiculous accusations? This isn't about fear, I shot back. It's about trust, and right now I don't trust you. The room was heavy with tension as Lily stared at me, her expression flickering between fury and panic. You'll regret this, she said through gritted teeth, her voice icy. If you don't apologize by tomorrow, you're out of this house. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. That night, I packed a bag and left. I wasn't going to beg or play her games. The next day, I sat in a lawyer's office, laying out the events of the past few weeks. When I finished, the lawyer nodded. It sounds like you've made your decision. I have, I said, my voice steady. I can't stay in this marriage. Not after this. When I first found out Lily filed for divorce, I couldn't believe it. 1 minute, everything seemed fine. And the next, I was getting a call from her that night. Her voice was sharp, like a knife cutting straight through me. You think you can just walk away like this? She yelled. You're not ruining my life, Jason. I'm going to fight you every step of the way. I didn't know what to say. My mind was all over the place. I wasn't expecting this, but I managed to keep my voice calm. Fight all you want. I'm done with this marriage, Lily, and I'll figure out the truth about that kid, one way or another. That's when things started to get really ugly. Over the next few days, Lily started sending me message after message. She was all over the place. 1 minute, she was sorry and begging for forgiveness. The next, she was threatening me. I couldn't keep up with her. She even started telling our friends, spreading rumors that I was some cruel, controlling guy and that I didn't want to be a father. She said she'd take me to court to keep the house, claiming it was the best thing for her. Baby. Her family got involved too. They all sided with her, painting me as the villain. They started rumors that I was scared of responsibility, that I couldn't even handle the thought of being a dad. Everywhere I went, I felt eyes on me, people whispering behind my back. They thought I was some kind of coward. It was like I couldn't escape it. It was one thing to deal with Lily's attacks, but the whole town seemed to turn against me. But I wasn't buying what Lily was selling. Something wasn't right. The more she acted like this, the more I started questioning everything. I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe the pregnancy wasn't even mine. I'd had my doubts ever since she went to Europe. Her behavior back then had raised so many red flags, I needed to know for sure. The day the trial started was the day I realized I was going to have to face my worst fear. Lily really was pregnant. I'd hoped it was just some big mistake or misunderstanding, but the doctor's reports didn't lie. She was expecting. But even then, I wasn't convinced the baby was mine. The timing just didn't add up. My lawyer wasted no time. He focused on the timing of the pregnancy and pointed out that Lily and I had been having issues long before she went to Europe. We argued that given the circumstances, there was a chance the baby might not be mine. We couldn't prove it, but I needed to plant doubt. Lily's lawyer didn't waste any time either. She brought out her witnesses, family, friends, people who said I was emotionally distant, that I was too scared to face fatherhood. They painted me as a guy who was too immature to be a dad, too selfish to care. It was tough in that courtroom. Every argument felt like a punch. Her lawyer was working hard to make her out to be the victim in all of this, while I was just a guy who couldn't handle the responsibility. But the hardest part was when the judge took over. He wasn't buying my suspicions about Lily's infidelity. He dismissed them like they were nothing. What mattered to him was that I hadn't proven the baby wasn't mine. He didn't seem to care about anything else. In the end, the judge ruled we'd need a paternity test. I felt a little bit of relief, but it didn't change the fact that things were still up in the air. He said we'd have to wait until the baby was born before we could get the test done. It wasn't a huge win, but at least it was something. As for the house, the judge said we both stay there for now. He didn't want to make any decisions about the property division until the paternity was figured out. I didn't want to be there with her, but I didn't have a choice. The next few months were the hardest of my life. I tried to stay away from Lily as much as possible. I couldn't deal with the constant drama, the rumors, and the fighting, but I had to keep my head down and stay patient. The paternity test would either prove me right or wrong, and I had to be ready for whatever came next.